Hello, everyone. Happy Monday again. Thanks for tuning in today. As you know, most of you know, I'm Tuba Palmer, and I'm excited to talk about a really important topic that I've been asked a couple of times in the last couple of weeks. And this is going to really help you, I believe. So, what we want to tackle today is how to price your offers based on value instead of cost or effort. And I know that when it comes to pricing, we all struggle. So I thought this would be a good topic if you are working on new offers, if you are restructuring your products, and that way you can kind of have an idea of how you can structure them. And at the end of this training, if you have any questions, again, you can DM me, email me, you know how to reach me. So, but this strategy at the end of the day, if your clients are not happy and if they're happy but you're not making any profit, you don't really have a business. So I wanted to make sure this is covered. So first things first, why should we focus on value-based pricing? Well, when you price based on value, you're highlighting the benefits and results you will deliver, and that whatever service you are doing and what would bring it to the table for your clients. So this shifts the focus from what it costs you to deliver that service to what it's worth to your client, which is more important. You might be spending so much time and effort, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your service or that part of it is worth that much to your client. So I wanted to make sure that that part is really understood when you are creating any type of offer. So for that to happen, there are some steps that you want to take. Step one is really, again, you're going to hate me saying this, but I want you to really identify who your target customer is. Because again, how are you going to actually determine what do they need and what it's worth to them? Again, it really is um, always like understanding them in a very maybe deep manner so that you can make that determination. So, um, what are their needs, pain points, and goals? Those three things, if you can make a list of saying, okay, these are the needs, these are the pain points, and these are their goals, what it is that keeps them awake at night, and if your services, at least part of it, is an answer to one of them, then what you normally do. So it is going to be very easy if you are tailoring your service and setting the right price based on those three things. What do they need? What keeps them awake at night? Their pain points, and what are their aspirations, goals? What is it that they really want to achieve? Like for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say your target customers are small to medium-sized businesses that they want to boost their social media, like they want to be more present, and they're struggling with the strategies, like how are they going to start, how is that going to happen. If you're doing a value proposition to them, you would determine what makes your service like special, like nothing like different than others. What benefits do you offer? And like this could be something like as basic as increasing the revenue because you're going to get more followers, customers from maybe saving time and energy. Like usually time and money are the two important things when you're talking to your clients. So if you can um, maybe wrap your service around these, maybe even customer satisfaction, that would be answering to their problems. So for them, for example, they would say, well, we're gonna instead of we're gonna get you like a pretty profile or social media, and like this is how we're gonna, we're gonna use this amazing software we have to design your social media posts. Instead of that, none of them matters to them, right? Like you're gonna say, well, this is how we're gonna and we're going to increase your conversion rates and you're going to get a better return on your investment, like something more tangible, something that's directly related to what I'm asking you to do. The, the other stuff that it's what they care is the results, and the results that are directly related to their pain points. So you have to always make that bridge and the connection so that they can understand. So after doing like, so we step one would be understanding your target audience. Step two, you're determining the value proposition and like kind of tailoring your service towards their needs and pain points. And step three would be quantifying that value, meaning um, you're gonna attach some numbers to that value so that they can translate visually what your services are worth. So you're going to estimate the financial impact your service will have on their business. And this could be a rough, like a revenue projection calculation, maybe cost savings or other measurable benefits, like something that you can track and measure and maybe project and let them know. So if you are projecting that your services will increase the revenue by let's say $100,000, that's like a very solid number to work with. And that way they in their mind your service equals $100,000 in a year. So in their mind you're setting what they see your services like value, so you're kind of attaching numbers to it. If you do this before you give them the price of, that's how you're actually going to be able to make more like return on investment type of king. So you're shifting their mind as well. That way they can actually understand the real value of your services. Otherwise, you're only talking about your services, but they're not really making the connection. So step four would be, again, you're setting your price based on the value. If the common approach would be to price your service at a fraction of the value that you're delivering, and you're making it like a no-brainer for the client. For example, if we're saying we're going to generate 100,000 in revenue, you can say, well, my services are going to cost you only $10,000 a year. That way you're only, so it's like you're selling them money at a discount. So they're going to buy $100,000 for $10,000. So they're going to say yes to it. As opposed to you talking about your service matching to its value you, and all of a sudden $10,000 is the big money to commit, right? It's a big uh, amount if you are just saying, well, this is what I do, and this is how much it'll cost you. And if they don't see the value in the end, especially with a comparison like this, then that's where we lose sales. Um, I think it's very important that how we are like structuring things in a way that they understand. Not all businesses are like this. So if it's not a like a tangible number, like if you're an artist and you're giving them something, you can still quantify the value by showing like before, after, like something that will, with the results that you created before, as long as it could be an emotional, still measure what emotional results that you can put a price tag to. So as that's why you need like the case studies and testimonials and stories, success stories. These are the ones that are putting that value in your client's mind, and they understand how like they actually want your services. They just want someone to give them permission. Hey, like I want to say yes, I'm here, I'm listening, but like just sell it to me, like give it to me. Or but like I don't want to be, I don't want to be tricked. Give me a good reason so I feel good about making this decision, giving you my hard-earned cash. So that's how usually, if you have a client in front of you in any format, that's how they are. They're there for a reason. They're listening to you. You got them. So it's your job to convince them in a way that like they just want permission to enter, like to get your services, and they just want to make sure that you're the one like who will give that service to them. um, Step 5 would be, this is something I really recommend you creating for any product or offer you do. Once you did all these 4 steps, I would always create multiple tiers. So there should be like offering pricing tiers to client needs and budgets, because then you're not losing anyone. Like I'm not saying service to everyone, but I always, and we talked about this before, I always tell you like you should have 4 types of offers. Like I said before, the first one is the free one. We talked about this. And then the second one is the low tier, like in the lower price range where they enter into your world. And then the second is in about like a mid price, where more like a done with you part of type of service. And then you will have your high ticket item. So that way you have tiers that anyone can enter into from any point. And sometimes a client would be able to buy or commit to your higher ticket item, but they need to make sure. So they don't want to say no, they don't want to say yes to that one yet. So you want to have them enter into your world and over deliver and amaze them with your, even with your low ticket item. That way you can move them, sort of like ascend them to like upper tiers, so that they're in your world longer, and it's going to give you a better way to explain, hey, well, this is what I have. And also like in a higher, obviously the if higher the price, you know more is the service. So they will then see that, like, why do they pay this much to this service? Finally understand, like if they want all of that, they need to pay this much. Sometimes when we don't tell them, especially as service providers, when we don't tell them exactly like how much work is involved or what services we include in that particular pricing package we have, it's almost like as if they are taking it for granted. They're thinking it's like already it should be like that. But obviously we're the experts. We're doing so many things in the back end that we don't even explain. I'm sure not everything you do can fit into even those long proposals or in a contracts. But they're there. You do spend a lot of time and effort, but like you want to kind of give them all those options. And one of the uh, one of the objections I see from some people, even like salespeople, complain that like I almost got that client, but then she said no because in that package, like she said, I don't need this, this, and this. So if we don't explain them three things or two things, or if there's another model that's available already that doesn't have they need those services, then that way you're not completely sure you create tiers that one of the things I always hear, and this is why I wanted to create this today, when you don't have like pricing models or like certain like ready packages to go, then each client, this goes for like a lot of service providers do that. For each client, you create a different package. And sometimes those proposals take days to put together, which is a lot of lost time because if you're doing it for every client, because you're going to say, well, each client needs different things. But technically, um, if you have these tiers with different models, if you've already been seeing clients, you probably have an idea of what they might need and what would make sense to package together. And when you package them in a way that like it's ready to go, you actually get more clients because people, when they want to work with you, they don't want to wait for proposals for days, right? Like they're ready to go and then they're waiting for a proposal. And especially if you have in the back end, if you have like a lead collecting system and you're kind of moving them um, in your grind, like to the upper levels, and then if your pricing structure is already there, you may not even have to do those long sales calls or Zoom calls. If they're ready to go and if it's explained well, each of your packages, they might just, without a phone call or like long Zoom meeting, you may actually get more sales this way, especially in the lower tiers. So I wanted to make sure you do have like you create tiers. Step 6 would be, regardless of the pricing model you have, you need to really communicate the value effectively. Like you have to communicate. Otherwise, I mean, this is key. So you need to add testimonials, case studies, success stories to show the benefits and ROI, return on investment of your service. You need to see what's going to happen if I engage with your business. So you want to handle every objection, every question that they might even think. And this is why the first step is always knowing who they are and what their problems are. So you want to highlight the cost of not taking the action. So one of the storytelling, um, the copywriting rules that we always apply and I always recommend, you want to tell the client right off the bat what would happen, what's at stake if they don't work with you. I think this is as much, if not more, important as like should they hire you versus what happens if they don't? What do they lose? That's another way of communicating the value. What they're going to lose in terms of, especially if you can quantify what that loss could look like, it's it will be in their mind. You're going to be able to again shift their mindset and kind of make them understand why should they make that decision now versus later. So step 7, we always want to offer a guarantee or risk reversal. However you structure your offers, I want you to always make sure to remove that risk by guaranteeing your service in a reasonable way. I actually saw, I think it was last week, I saw this offer and it says no guarantee. It was a service provider. It says the guarantee is the offer because she made it so clear what that offer was, and there was no risk in the offer. Like within the offer, you didn't see any risk. It was built that way, which was brilliant. I really like it. Um, so I want you to create an offer, either like the offer itself is a no-brainer. It doesn't even raise a question or objection of like what's the risk, or they don't like you don't get worried about it. Or you reverse the risk by saying, well, you will get this, and if you don't, I will work with you until you do, something like that. So I think it's very easy to commit to something when you have no risk whatsoever, and this part is like really, really important. But again, I don't want you to do like any guarantees that you don't feel comfortable with. Make something that makes sense to you. And again, if you can't guarantee your work, then you should work on your offer. Like it's always like you should be so sure and super confident about guaranteeing the results, because you should have all the results backing it up. Otherwise, I would recommend working on your offers more, or perfecting it, or getting more clients and testimonials and test it out a lot more. So I always recommend get results first and then just document and guarantee it, because once you have results already, there's nothing to worry about. And an additional step 8, this is something I'm adding just to make sure, because there is no guarantee. Like each business is different, each customer base is different, and you may think you know your clients, but maybe their needs changed, maybe you changed, and like there are so many moving parts when it comes to offers. What I would like you to do, once you do all these steps, I want you to really test it, like all the way. Once you test enough, if you have enough results, then amplify that offer. Like, you know, get a bigger audience, collect more leads, and just amplify all the results. But if it's not working as well as you would like, then after testing it, adjust it, and different price points can be tested as well, just to see which one works better for you. But I always recommend um, starting from like a lower point. I'm not saying price it low, but it's better to start low and gradually increase than throwing a number that's high and then later on discount it, because it really creates the idea of like it devalues your offer when you actually decrease the price. So I always recommend starting from like what you feel comfortable pricing. But again, if you make the calculations the way I say with the value, then you will see how low your pricing is. Like currently, I can bet most of you are pricing your offers not high enough, and or maybe you don't see the value behind this work of calculating the value for your clients is not only for them. This is also for you. When you see crystal clear how much would mean how much your offer could mean to your client, it will change the way you look at your offers too. It will make you feel more confident. Because don't forget, they're there for a reason, because you already are an expert on that subject matter. You, even yourself, you're taking yourself for granted. You have no idea how many people need your services and what you offer. You just have to know your value first and price it accordingly. Not Don't price it because everybody else is pricing it for $27, $37. Don't look at others. Look at the value you're bringing to the table. So I really make sure that your starting point, like restructuring your business, is right. So satisfaction. I think it's also like it's just kind of it works for you and for your client when you focus on the benefits your service provides and quantify its impact and set a price that reflects this value and communicate it effectively. So don't forget to offer also guarantees to build trust and be flexible enough to adjust based on the feedback. Always ask your clients, of course. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you for joining me today. And I really, I'm so excited about creating offers and structuring your businesses and building these recurring revenue models. So I hope you're joining me with all these conversations, and I hope you're watching this at some point. And whenever and wherever you're watching this, please reach out to me and just, ask me if you are struggling to price your offer or your business, if you're struggling to scale. Any of those questions, I welcome, and I hope all of this will come together for you and your business. Next week on Monday again, and have a great day. And I hope you had a wonderful Memorial